Sometimes we feel stuck in our life. Our own decisions feel heavy. Thinking about our future becomes a burden. But what if I tell you there is a different way to live life? A way where you feel more liberated and you'll feel at ease. It's about surrendering to the life's flow, letting go of the need to controlling everything, living a life with less stress, more peace, and trusting that life knows the way. Sounds very liberating, doesn't it? So in this video, let me tell you the idea that Michael A. Singer shares in this book, The Surrender Experiment. It's a New York Times bestseller. I read this book and couple of chapters many times. It almost worn out. You can see this is a story about Michael A. Singer, who also wrote the book. This man was literally living an ordinary life like us. When he was a graduate student, he couldn't find peace in his mind. With the endless stream of thoughts, he was struggling to find the peace within. So one day he had this profound realization. What if instead of fighting against the flow of life and trying to control everything, I simply let go and allow life to unfold naturally towards me? That's when he began what he called the surrender experiment. It's not about giving up on life or being passive. It's about actively stepping back from his preferences, fears, desires, and trusting the natural flow of events. He thought, what if I stop resisting and see where life takes me? And after that, by surrendering, Michael found himself on this incredible life's journey. Life took him to a place where he never imagined. He aced in meditation, became a self-taught programmer, wrote this book, created a successful medical software company, and even became the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company. But it wasn't just about external achievements. Through these experiments, he found profound spiritual growth within, a deeper inner peace, and a sense of connection with the universe. So as I said, he started this experiment when he was a graduate student and set some rough rules for it to follow, like say yes to life's opportunities and challenges without resistance. Let go of personal preferences, likes, dislikes, and fears to embrace what life offers. Focus on what is actually happening rather than what your mind says about. Accept the flow with life's direction instead of fighting against it. Let life be in charge while your role is to respond with acceptance. Notice but don't act on the mind's likes and dislikes. Choose surrender over personal preferences in every situation possible. Trust life's wisdom over the mind's preferences and fears. Take action based on what shows up, not based on mental calculations. Focus on the present moment instead of trying to control the future. All these rules sound so good but very difficult to act on. But he made it clear to himself that he will strictly follow these without any compromises. From this book, one story of his experiment is immediately coming to my mind is the story of writing his dissertation paper. Michael A. Singer was deep into his graduate studies, but by this point his mind was more focused on meditation rather than his academics. One day he suddenly realized he had a problem. His dissertation, a major paper that takes weeks to write, was due the next morning. In this case, most people would panic, but Michael has already started to embrace his surrender experiment. So instead of stressing, he thought, if life has brought me to this, I'll give it my best and let life guide me. That night, he sat down on his desk feeling calm and determined. Describing this, he wrote in his book, I began to write and thoughts began to flow. I did not worry about what I was writing or second guess my thoughts. It was very much like meditation. Hour by hour, the paper came together and by morning, the dissertation was complete. When Michael handed the dissertation to his professor, he had no idea that what remarks it would receive. But when his professor read, the response was incredible. His professor not only praised his work but was deeply impressed. Michael couldn't believe it. Something that felt almost possible turned into success simply because he surrendered and trusted the process. For me, this moment became a powerful example as it showed the power of letting go and allowing life to flow. For Michael, it led to results far better than he imagined. I can give you another example from this book of his surrender experiment. So Michael A. Singer had a simple idea. He wanted to build a small meditation hut in the woods to find peace. It was meant to be his personal retreat, nothing more. He gathered materials for it and started building the hut by himself. But then life stepped in, as it often did during his surrender experiments. A neighbor noticed him working and offered help. Michael, staying true to his practice, saying yes to everything life has to offer, he welcomed the help. Soon other people came forward, each bringing skills, tools, even ideas to improve the hut. Michael hadn't planned for any of this, but instead of resisting, he surrendered to what life was created through him and around him. One by one, more people came in. The small meditation hut turned into something bigger, a beautiful space that became a gathering place for others who were also seeking peace. It became a community of peace seekers. Isn't it beautiful? If you came this far, I want to share with you another story of Michael Singer, the story of how he became a CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company. And this is a crazy one. So Michael Singer was living a quiet life in the woods, committed to his surrender experiment. One day while running errand, he suddenly stopped at a Radio Shack store and noticed a TRS-80 computer on display. Watching letters appear on the screen as he pressed the keys, he felt magical, like stepping into a new world. Though he had no idea on how to use it, something inside him told yes to this new fascination. A few days later, he returned and spent $600 on that computer, even though he didn't plan for it, with just 16K of memory. You know, I'm talking about 1978. No long after, a doctor friend approached him with a problem. His medical office needed a software to manage the billing system, and doctor wondered if Michael could help. At first, Michael felt unqualified. He knew nothing about programming. He was just a yogi living in his woods doing meditation with a community. But staying true to his commitment to surrender, he agreed to try. With the computer he already bought, he started to teach himself how to code. He embraced the challenge, and as the day passed, he discovered a surprising talent for it within himself. He created the program, and it worked so well that other doctors started demanding it. Slowly, what started as a simple favor grew into a thriving software company named as the Medical Manager. Now you can see the power of surrendering. How life's mysterious event showed Michael the power of surrendering to the life's flow. There are more stories in this book. I definitely recommend you to read this. After reading this, you'll feel fulfilled, spiritually more inclined, and see life differently. So that's it. I hope you like this video. If you like this video, please share it with at least one of your friends. Do sub if you haven't already. Meet you in the next video.